Moving in with her was the biggest mistake I ever made. But at the time, I was just tired. Tired of searching, tired of agents, tired of prices that didn't even make sense anymore. I found the apartment online, cheap, too cheap honestly, but I didn't ask too many questions. The day I got there, the compound was quiet, not peaceful quiet. You know that kind of quiet that feels like people are watching you from inside. She opened the door before I even knocked. That should have been my first sign. She just stood there, staring for like 2 seconds too long. Then she stepped aside and said, "You're the new roommate." Not even a question. The house was clean, very clean. No smell, no noise, no TV, just silence. I tried to make small talk, normal things. Where do you work? How long have you been here? She didn't really answer, just short replies, dry, like she didn't want conversation. Then she asked me something, and I laughed at first because it sounded like a joke. She said, "Do you sleep deeply?" I said, "Yeah, I guess." And she just nodded slowly, like that answer mattered more than it should. That night, I tried to forget about it. I arranged my things, said my prayers, locked my door, everything normal. But sometime in the middle of the night, I woke up. I don't even know what woke me up. No noise, no dream, just that feeling. You know that feeling, like someone is there. I turned toward my door slowly, and that's when I saw it. My door wasn't fully closed anymore, just slightly open, and someone was standing there. It was her. She wasn't knocking. She wasn't calling my name. She was just standing there, in the dark, looking straight at me. I didn't move. I didn't even breathe properly, because something about the way she was looking at me, it didn't feel normal. And then she smiled. But not the kind of smile you're thinking. It was slow, like she knew something I didn't. I pretended to be asleep. I don't even know how long she stood there, but I didn't check. I couldn't. Because in that moment, I realized something was very wrong. After that night, I told myself I was overreacting. Maybe she sleepwalks. Maybe I forgot to lock the door. I tried to make it make sense. But the next morning, she acted normal. Too normal. She was in the kitchen making tea like nothing happened. No apology, no mention of standing at my door. I even waited, thinking maybe she'd say something like, "Oh, sorry about last night." But nothing. That's when I started paying attention. Small things at first, very small. My bag wasn't where I left it. Not completely moved, just slightly shifted. My perfume bottle turned the other way. My charger unplugged. And you know that feeling when something is off, but you can't prove it? I even started doubting myself, like maybe I was the one doing all these things and forgetting. Until she said something. She looked at me randomly and said, "You were on the phone for a long time yesterday." I froze because I was on the phone, but I was in my room, door closed. I laughed it off. I said, "Yeah, just gist with my friend." Then she nodded slowly and said, "Your mom worries about you a lot." I never told her anything about my mom. That was the moment something shifted in my chest. That night, I decided to test her. Before leaving the house, I arranged my bag properly, zipped it fully, placed it right in the middle of my bed. I even took a picture of it, just to be sure I wasn't imagining things. I stayed out longer than usual that day. I didn't even want to come back, but eventually I did. The house was quiet, same silence. I walked straight to my room, closed the door behind me, and looked at the bed. My bag was open. Not just open, everything inside it had been touched. My clothes weren't folded the same way. My wallet was in a different position. And the picture I took earlier, it didn't match anymore. That's when it hit me. I wasn't imagining anything. She had been going into my room. But the real question was, how was she getting in? Because this time, I was sure I locked the door.